Incoming message. Welcome.
Hello, we're back, and we are going to be painting Captain Erika Dulinsky from Star Saga. This is a miniature, and this is her card. Now, oops, let's bend it a little there. So that's everything that you need to know about it, plus a little photograph kind of thing, an image of what she looks like. I'm taking a rough, and I mean a very rough, idea from the photograph for painting her. We are not going to do it exactly the same way, but close enough. So we're going to start off, and I'm giving this a good shake at the moment with barbarian flesh. So I'm just giving it a damn good shake, and now we can apply it to our palette. There we are. Now the the brush that I want to use is hiding away somewhere. Where are you? Right, what I have been using, I have been asked before we carry on any further, what brushes I use. Well, for a while I've been using these ones from Rosemary & Co. and the Pure Sable Series 101. I've also been using the Army Painter Jobbies. These are getting a bit shot at now though. As you can see from that, this is the one I put the paints on the palette with when I'm using Citadel paints. So it's not as if it's a good quality brush now. I don't use it for anything other than that. But I've also got some, I think you saw it earlier, the dry brushes that I use. These are Master Stroke. These are unnamed, unbranded ones, I think, and I got them from Pro Arts, Master Stroke, whatever they may be. I got those from Wish, and I'm going to start off using a new set of brushes that I've also bought from Wish, which are these ones. That's what they look like. They're very similar, as you can see, to the Rosemary & Co. brushes. But what they'll let you use, I don't know. This is the very first time I'm going to be using one. So we'll take off the little, whatchamacallit, little bristle protector, and get the brush into the paint, and let us apply the paints to the face. Now, as usual, we're doing a very, very thin coating on the face. And this being an Army Painter paint is quite thin anyway. And the other night I went online to order some more of the Citadel paint, especially the Stormhost Silver, and they're all out of stock by all accounts. So what I've done is I've ordered some more equivalent paint in Army Painter that I've needed. So I'm just waiting for them to turn up. Hopefully it won't be too long. And just in case you're wondering, I've not abandoned the idea of the painting video with Ali for the whatchamacallit, the cases and whatnot. not cases, the what are they called, trunks and things like that. I was just waiting until she's in the mood for trying, because it's not really worth doing anything like that until you're in the mood to do so, because you're not going to enjoy it, you're not going to get the best out of it. So when she's oh god, I'm off camera. Let me just tilt the camera a little bit, that's better. Sorry, I didn't realise I was off camera there. So when you're painting, it's always better to be in the mood for it, that way you'll enjoy it, especially if you're just starting. The last thing you want to do is paint when you're not in the mood for it, when you're first starting to paint, because you're not going to get the best out of it, you're not going to get the best experience, you're not going to enjoy it. So that's the face done. Next is the rest of her, and for that I'm going to be using Abaddon Black. And this is where one of our scraggy brush comes into play. Remember that from earlier? Well, I just scoop some and dollop it on. I don't use this for painting at all, unless, as you saw from the bristles earlier, unless it's a really big flat area. I don't use this at all for painting this one. It's just there to apply paint to the palette and nothing more. So I'll put that to one side, and we'll get this brush. It's number 4 brush from Rosemary and Coast, the one I showed you earlier. Just dampen it a touch, and everywhere other than the hair is getting the covering of this. So I want to give a quite dark armour. Now I am going to do different colours in this, but this is just a base coat of black because I want it to be a fairly dark colour. For some reason I keep going off screen with it and I don't know why. So I want to give her a fairly dark look. I don't want it to be quite bright and cheerful. And you'll notice that when it comes around to when I start putting highlights and things on it, because the highlights are just going to be slightly darker than the black. But I will do a little something to bring out the details a little more than I usually do, and it's a technique I don't normally do because I don't like the look of it, but in this case, because of the way the model is moulded and is styled, I think it would give quite a nice effect to it. So bear with me and you'll see what I'm thinking of doing, assuming of course I can get it done correctly, because as I say, it's a technique that I don't really like. I don't find it a simple job to do because I don't have a very steady hand, and you've probably got the idea of what it is already, but as I say, I don't particularly want to mention it yet. Keep you guessing. Ah dear. Right, so as I say, she's going to get a covering all over in black. Yeah, I think that is about it. There's not much left to go, I don't think. There we go. And that's almost it now for this particular colour. There's just this little bit now I can see he's doing. I just want to make sure that I've got everywhere in this black. I do not want to miss any part of this. Any part that I want to have black. I want to make sure I've got every part. I don't want to miss anything. There we go. That will do. Okay, so that's the black area done. And now we're her. And for that, I'm going into going back into Citadel with Doomball Brown. Again, as I said, this is just for her. I'm going to use the smaller brush again. I'm just putting it on the palette with this brush because I don't need much of this. And I'm going to have to watch for removing the palette, because I noticed I did that in the last video when I was doing the containment tanks. I managed to catch the, I seem to have caught the edge of the palette and pushed it a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to have to go back over this flesh anyway, so I'm not really too fussed about going onto the face. In fact, if you look at the picture, she has, you know, the little camouflage marks on her face that they apply with some form of I don't know, I would say makeup, I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to add a few little lines here and there to her face to try and emulate that. I don't know if it's going to work, but there we go. So that's that bit. The next job is picking out some of the armour details, and for that we're going to be using Incubi Darkness. I'll give it a shake. A big brush again. And add that to our palette. So this time we're looking to get into the armour. So anywhere where there's a big, not big, anywhere where there is like body armour on her, then that is where we'll attach, or that is where we'll apply this particular colour.
Program activated.
keep going in, touching up, and adding this colour where we think we need it. If you see something later on that you didn't see the first time, you can always go back and paint it again. That's not a big problem. We just keep touching up and touching up. And that's as far as we can do. Okay, so I'm not doing any more with that colour just yet. I want to go back into the skin tone now. Okay, so now we can come back in and add some more colour to the face. I am going over the brown that I put on before. And that will do nicely. Thank you very much. Now then, next, so we're going back to heavy painter. I'm just giving this particular paint a good shake, and this one we're using Venom Worm. We have used this before, as you may remember. At least I think we've used this before on the video. I know there's some things I've used it for, which I haven't put on video because I don't want it going on video. It's a secret. And we're going to put this on all areas that are material rather than body armour, and hoping I have got the right area. So I'm just going to paint all of this. Even in the crevices I'm going to paint with this. I'm just looking to see what I can think of being material. I don't think you should wear, I think you should wear body armour over something that would be material. It seems a logical conclusion. Yeah, so I will put, it's as though she's wearing like a shirt there. That may well be body armour as well, so I can go back and correct that bit. And it's not too out of the ordinary to think that her trousers would be made of material as well, and not some sort of body armour. So as I say, we'll just paint everything that we want to be material in this colour. Now obviously if you have Star Saga and you're starting painting, then if you so wish, paint a bright pink or some such. There's no need, or there's no necessity rather, to paint your mini the same way as I'm doing mine. I'm showing you how I paint my minis, not how you should paint yours. So please don't mistake this as a you must do it this way kind of video, because it isn't. The best way to describe this is, if you would like to learn how to paint a mini fairly easily, then grab your paints and a brush and follow on. use my techniques, not necessarily my colours. If you get me drift. I'm just going to go all over the back here because I can't work out as yet which is material, which is like a strap holding on the shin guard. But there we are. And as I said, the more colour you add in subsequent layers, then the more bright the colour is going to be. And as I said, I don't particularly want this to be overly bright, so I'm not putting a lot of bright colours on here. There we go. As I say, we will be coming back and doing a little bit of highlighting later on. And there she is. That's basically the finished product. You know, there are things that we're doing, or that we're going to do, that's going to change it, but to all intents and purposes, what you see there is what you get. Anyway, there are other things we need to paint on it, so that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to be using dark stone. I'll give it a good shake, and now it's just apply it to and there we are. And for this part we're going to be doing gun holsters, like you see here. And various other kinds of pockets and bags that she has attached to her. So I can't really tell what everything is, so I'm just going to do all of these in like a standard colour, just to make it look as though what she does have is like a uniform kind of thing, and it's made not to stand out and draw attention to itself. So that's why I'm adding this kind of colour. Now what we're going to do is take some of this as well, and some of the Doombull brown, and add it in, and we'll use this for the straps. Basically we're trying to do like a leather colour. Now normally I would use a reddish colour, but I don't want to use red or too bright a red on this, because I think it might spoil the look of what we're going for. So we'll just keep going with this. There we are. That's the just what we've had so far on this. We need some more. also going to do the gloves that she's wearing in this colour as well, because why wouldn't you? That's that bit done. And next is this. Now we don't have much of the glove showing here. There's a little bit on the underside that we can do, but again not much, and I need to go over that part in the Inky by Darkness. There is belt there, belt there. And what's that? Everywhere we can see like a belt or some strapping, that is where we'll paint using this colour. There we go. I think that's about right. Not quite, missed a little bit, just seeing it now. There we are. And just on the top there. And I'm also going to do in the centre of the pack. There we are. Now I'm going to go back into the Inky by Darkness. And we can do this glove or wrist armour that she seems to be wearing that I didn't see in the first place. And there's one side done, and now the other side. Again, I'm using the flat edge of the brush, or the side of the brush rather, to do that, so I don't go over the indentations in there. So that is that. I'm going to leave the shoes black, but there is some Inky by Darkness I need to add down here because it doesn't look as though I put any on for some reason. Oh yeah. Again, if it looks dark, you can always put more on, and if you put more on, don't paint everywhere that you put it beforehand. Take your pick on where you put it, because if you put more pigment on, it needs to be certain areas. Right, so that's that for the time being. Now what we need to do is look at washes. Now the wash I have for my painter is a green tone wash. That's not going to work for this. So what I'm going to use is an all over wash of a Grax Earth shade. Now I have to be careful at the moment because I've only just painted some areas, so I want to make sure that they are dry before I actually paint the rest of it. Basically on the base colour is now on. The next thing we're going to do is wash. Following the wash we're going to be doing the highlighting, and the last areas I did, if I remember right, that was up here. It seems dry, so let's get our brush open up the wash and slap it on. Now this hopefully is going to make the greens a lot more darker. It's going to obviously leave the skin area darker, put shadows in the eyes, which work for me because anybody who's watched my painting videos before know I don't like painting eyes. I always mess them up. So miniatures of this scale I have a tendency of not painting eyes and just giving the whole face a wash and allowing the wash to pull up in the eye sockets, and that way it acts like a shadow, so you don't need to do an eye. It's an easy way of doing it. It was a tip I received from somebody in Games Workshop, I believe, if I remember rightly. So there we are. That's that for this bit. I can't do anything now until this has dried, so join me when it's dried.
Mission complete.